5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. In this matter, the central question arises from concerns related to fairness, procedural discipline, and proper application of principles expected in every administrative or institutional framework. The petitioner has expressed dissatisfaction with how the process was handled, citing irregularities that, in their view, amount to an infringement of fair treatment and basic expectations from a decision-making authority. The issue at hand stems from events in which the petitioner claims to have been denied a proper opportunity to present a full explanation before adverse conclusions were reached. According to the petitioner, no formal communication was served, nor was any sufficient notice given. The concern is that such actions reflect a breach of elementary standards that require timely, written, and properly communicated decisions in any administrative setting. It is the view of this court that whenever a person is affected by a decision, especially where there is potential for harm to reputation, status, or livelihood, it is essential that procedures followed are not merely technically correct, but also fair, transparent, and well documented. The absence of any recorded reasoning or written explanation naturally invites questions on credibility, objectivity, and legality of outcomes. Respondents, on their part, argue that the petitioner was made aware of the process and given an informal opportunity to respond. It is submitted that multiple attempts were made to reach out and that the petitioner was unwilling to cooperate. The respondents further assert that their course of action was guided by the existing internal guidelines and that due process was, to the extent possible, followed. However, informal communications, if not documented, cannot be substituted for properly issued notices or official correspondence. Procedural safeguards are not meant to be optional, but essential, especially when consequences may have long-term implications for an individual. Lack of transparency or failure to record justifications diminishes the credibility of the process and opens the door to challenge, both on procedural and substantive grounds. In determining the merits of such a grievance, it becomes quite important to weigh the actions of both parties. While institutions are expected to operate efficiently, they are equally expected to maintain fairness, neutrality, and clarity in every action. Even internal decisions must withstand scrutiny if they are challenged on grounds of equity or reasonableness. It is not suggested that every misstep amounts to deliberate harm or negligence. Yet, omissions in basic protocol cannot be ignored merely due to institutional convenience. Every individual subject to a decision is entitled to an impartial process, and the burden lies with the authority to demonstrate that such a process has indeed taken place. In this instance, the petitioner alleges that no copy of the original decision was ever made available. It is also stated that the petitioner learned about the development only through an unofficial channel, which further aggravated anxiety and confusion. The Honorable Court is of the view that if any decision affects rights, opportunities, or standing of an individual, the minimum expectation is that such decision must be properly conveyed, supported with reasons, and open to response. A record showing timelines, communication details, and response summaries is not a formality, but a critical part of transparency. Failure to maintain such records prevents verification and weakens the institution's defense when challenged. The petitioner has requested that the decision be set aside and the matter be reconsidered afresh, this time in accordance with proper procedures. The respondents oppose such relief, stating that reconsideration would be impractical and would create a precedent for reopening settled matters. The court cannot accept that reasoning without examination. It must be emphasized that every person who brings a genuine complaint deserves to be heard, especially if there is prima facie evidence that basic rights may have been ignored. Precedent is important, but not at the cost of fairness in individual cases. If reconsideration is necessary to restore faith in the process, then so be it. It is also important to highlight the emotional distress caused by opaque or careless handling of sensitive matters. Individuals engaged in public or private roles often invest years of service and dedication. Any action impacting their career or standing must, therefore, be treated with seriousness and respect. Arbitrary or rushed decisions, even if unintended, have a damaging effect on morale and trust. Institutions serve people, and systems must evolve with greater sensitivity, fairness, and adherence to principles. Reforms must not be limited to rules, but must reflect in everyday practice. Transparency is not a burden, it is a necessity. Accountability is not an inconvenience, it is a duty. In conclusion, this court finds that the grievance presented deserves careful consideration. The procedural lapses admitted or evident from the record justify intervention. While the decision under challenge may have been taken with bona fide intention, the manner in which it was executed lacks the rigor expected from a responsible institution. Accordingly, the matter is remanded for fresh consideration. The authority concerned is directed to issue a formal notice, grant a meaningful opportunity for response, and issue a reasoned decision thereafter. This process must be completed within a stipulated time frame to avoid further delay or prejudice. The petitioner is advised to cooperate fully and participate in good faith. The respondents are expected to ensure that future decisions follow the standards discussed herein, with all proceedings properly recorded and preserved. With this direction, the matter stands disposed of. No further orders are required at this stage. This judgment aims not only to resolve the present dispute, but also to reinforce the importance of procedural integrity across all administrative functions. Let this serve as a reminder that fair treatment, timely communication, and reasoned decision-making are not optional features, they are the foundation of trust in any system. Moreover, authorities must remember that every action taken without due care impacts not only individuals but also the credibility of the institution as a whole. Consistent adherence to fair process ensures long-term stability and public confidence. Upholding these values is essential for maintaining justice, dignity, and institutional integrity in all matters. Stop.